From slidenerd, this is Weaves. What's up guys? How are you guys doing today? In this video, I'm gonna have a simple program that asks the user for some numbers and then says exactly how many are negative, how many are positive, and how many are zeros. So let's go ahead, check the output. You ask the guy, enter 5 numbers. He says 1, 5, -8, 0, 4. Your program simply says there are 3 positive numbers, there is 1 negative number, there is 1 0. So let's go ahead and see how this is done. So what I have is an empty bag over here, an empty suitcase of negative numbers. This bag, the black one, can only contain negative numbers inside. Same way, there is an empty bag for zeros too, and an empty bag for positive numbers. And we have this guy who's very particular about what number goes inside which bag. So let's see, if you give him -5, he's gonna throw it inside the negative one. If you give him 0, he's gonna drop it right inside the zeros bag. If you give him positive, he's gonna throw it inside the positive numbers bag. So in short, every time you add an element to one of the bags, there is a counter variable which is gonna increase, right? So in short, for a negative bag, if you take negative count plus plus, this statement says that whatever negative bag had initially, it is gonna be added by 1 now. In short, we are adding one element, right? So that's what the plus plus sign indicates. So in short, we say negative count plus plus, and remember, when do we do this? If the number is less than 0. In short, if we get a negative number, we put it inside the bag and increase the count of the negative bag by 1, right? That's what we are gonna do. We have an if statement over here. Same way, we have a zeros count, that is the number of elements in the zeros bag. Every time you have a number which is 0, you simply increase the count by 1, right? So again, you have an if statement, you say number is 0, then increase the count by 1. Same way for the positive, increase the count by 1 every time you find that a number is positive, or in short, the number is greater than 0. Now this entire 3 steps you do for one number, right? So given a number like 5 or a number like -3, you check if it is less than 0, you check if it is equal to 0, you check if it is greater than 0, and based on that you increase the count. But we have 5 numbers, so we are going to repeat this 5 times, right? So when you want to repeat something 5 times, you start from 1, you stop at 5, and you increase the I by 1 each time, and you put this inside a for loop, right? Because you want to repeat stuff, you use a loop. So now in NetBeans, I have an empty project. I'm going to ask the user, enter a number using our standard println stuff. I'm going to talk only about one number. If the number is less than 0, go ahead. If the number is, I'll declare a variable first, number. It says an error, right? Reader.readLine. This is going to give me a string. I'll have to convert that to an integer, so I'll use integer.parseInt function that does that for me. So I'll copy paste the if statement 3 times because we need the number equals 0 and it's greater than 0, right? So now I'll say number greater than 0. At this point, I'm gonna need 3 variables which are our empty bags, right? Negative count, zeros count, positive count. All these 3 variables are gonna be 0 initially. Every time you find a negative number, the negative count increases by 1. You find a 0, zeros count increases by 1. You find a positive number, the positive count increases by 1. So go ahead. If the number is less than 0, increase the negative count. Number is 0, increase the positive count. And do the same thing. Oh, the number is 0, increase the 0 count. If the number is greater than 0, increase the positive count. So go ahead. Now since we have to do this 5 times, I'll use a for loop. Start at I equals to 1, go up to 5. You can also say I is 0, I less than 5 is the same thing. Doesn't make a difference at all. One of the most biggest confusions faced by beginners is whether to say I is 0 to less than 5 or I is 1 to less than equals 5. So at the end, I'll simply print the count out. I'll say number of negative numbers. If you want to see how to use that shortcut, I keep pressing Control space all the time in NetBeans. It does that automatically for me. Same thing with the positive numbers and the zeros. I print them all out. I could have used arrays if you are intermediate guys, but I thought I'd keep things simple for beginners over here. So let's go ahead, run this baby, Control S, Shift F6, enter a number. it'll ask 5 times, right? 10 minus 2. Now I'll put minus 5, 0 and 5. Number of negatives is 2. As you can see, there are minus 5 and there is minus 2. Number of zeros is 1, number of positives is 2. So as you guys can see, this is working perfectly. It's a simple program. I hope you guys like this. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know what you think about this. I would love to hear from you guys. Keep watching. I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice day.